All right, guys, we have a bit of a serious one on the docket today because we're just going to address kind of what's going on in Palestine and Israel and the conflict that's going there. And we're doing it because I've been thinking all week since this began about what could we do to bring some peace or resolution to this problem that's been going on for decades now. You see people, they pick sides, they're polarized, or some people, they're right down the middle. Some people don't know what to think or what to make of what's going on here. And I think in the age of information, as more is getting out, people are starting to see the nuance, the complication towards this situation. And I stumbled across this video by Matthew Cooke, and it's called Free Palestine, Free Israel, and Free the United States. And it's kind of like a reflection on what's going on in the Middle East. And its ties to kind of like the religious belief systems that kind of are going on and what people believe. And also a little bit of a tie to Eastern mysticism and kind of the philosophies that come out of there. And I thought it was really good, and I thought we should react on it.
Okay. It's interesting because I often take a fence-sittery position in most things.
Yeah.
And I'll take a very surface level, kind of shallow assessment of things and give my judgment like that, in lieu of the fact that to really know what the truth of something is, you would have to know absolutely every detail, which is impossible to do.
Yeah.
So and I know that people will be like, no, there's other ways of knowing. There's intuitive ways. There's what God says in the book, first of all.
Yeah.
Like, I know that that's an argument. There's people that cannot stand a fence sitter. But the fact is that in order to know the truth of something, you would actually have to have supreme knowledge of everything, which you do not have. Nobody has that. So in lieu of that, I always either take a fence sitter approach, or I say very shallowly and surfacely what my assessment is on the surface, given some hard and fast things like, we can all agree this happened, okay, boom. We can all agree this happened, boom. Then this is what I think happened.
Yeah.
That's my approach. Let's see what this guy has to say, assuming that there's a truth to be grasped here, which I do not think there ever is.
To live in a Jewish state, what a blessing that would be. And how easy. All we'd have to do is walk in the footsteps of Abraham and Moses and follow in the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not worship material objects. Thou shalt not kill nor covet, meaning don't yearn for, and certainly don't steal any of thy neighbor's possessions, land, nor blockade their freedom. Take care of the poor and oppressed over all else. Or we could live in a Christian state, and what a blessing and how easy that would be. All we'd have to do was follow Jesus, the modern name of a Jewish man called Yeshua, who reminded us to also follow Abraham and Moses in the 10 Commandments, to never worship material objects nor idols, to not steal nor kill, to love unconditionally, to judge no one, and care most of all for the poor and oppressed, and to prioritize looking at our own faults and devote ourselves to their correction and improvement, to never fall victim to feelings of arrogance or somehow being superior to somebody else. Or we could live in a Muslim state. What a blessing and how easy that would be. All we'd have to do is follow Muhammad, peace be upon him, who told us to follow Abraham, and Jesus, who was called Yeshua, and Moses, and follow the 10 Commandments, to never worship material objects nor idols, to not kill nor steal, and to take care of the poor and oppressed over all else.
I think
This guy's breaking my heart. He's breaking my heart because he's making such a solid point that I just... it's sad to me that it would not penetrate, that wouldn't break other people's hearts too. And they'd be like, I'm creeped out that your heart's broken. Ugh! No, you're violent and a goddamn Neanderthal. He's making a solid point. Yeah. All of your prophets told you to aim higher, and you're failing miserably. And you know what? It might take the whole damn planet out because you're so damn stubborn. Yeah. And people go, I've encountered that time and time again in my life, right this close to my face. People that go, I don't care. I want what I want for me. Yeah. That's what everybody does, which is why we're probably fucking doomed. You know, it's hard for me to not be reactive because he's just making sense, man. They're your prophets. They're your damn prophets. And you won't listen to them. You're fools. It should be embarrassing to do anything other than not covet. Anything other than not be giving. Anything other than being gentle should be fucking embarrassing. You should be like, if anybody's going to be alienated from society, it shouldn't be like altruistic people talking about peace and unity and all these things and understanding and all this stuff. They should never be alienated. The goddamn fucking, club-carrying, weapon-toting bastards that make the planet turn. We need to have a movement of like rejecting people like that, pushing them right out of society. You don't get to take part, you idiot. The women got to stop picking guys like that to breed with, is my opinion. Otherwise, we're going to have war after war after war. Ha ha, I don't care. We make light of sociopathic behavior in our media, in the shows we watch, fucking Yellowstone, goddamn House of Usher. They're supposed to be the bad guys, but they're the protagonist of the story, and you identify with it. So it's your fault. And we'll get more wars like that. Let's continue.
To submit to the highest unfathomable good with acceptance and patience and courage. We could also live in all three states at once, because it turns out they are highly compatible, and it sounds like heaven on earth, which I think was the idea. This guidance that we now call Islam and Christianity and Judaism came from three people after each fasted for a month to reduce the influence of this material world, to leave themselves empty, to receive something from that highest good. And they did. They each had a revelation that human beings should never associate anything physical or that springs from desire and self-interest with an unfathomable, all-encompassing oneness God, Allah, Yahweh, which all mean the same thing, regardless of religion or tradition. A word that means that which is everything, that which precedes and surrounds and exists inside and outside all that exists. And each of these three people who had this revelation were from the same family and share the same ancestor, who are all our ancestors, and who shared this same message, that this world is temporary. It's a test of our willingness to be a good and humble person who uses our earthly desires as fuel, but not direction. And each one of them, in succession, said that the world was not listening to their sibling who had just come prior. It turns out that the beliefs of all the children of humanity are also completely compatible with Gautama Buddha, who reminded humankind that our attachment to material things leads to suffering. And our entire human family is also compatible with the beliefs of Hinduism, which advise that humankind must be aware of our karma, which could be interpreted simply as that which we hate, we become, and that which we love loves us back. All the wisdoms of the world, practiced as prescribed, create harmony among all the families of the earth. And it should go without saying that there's nothing that could ever justify killing or kidnapping a child, or civilians, or evicting a family from their home, or bombing a building, or seizing land someone is living on already, or voting for leaders or tax dollars to finance these kinds of crimes, or the weapons that are used to commit them, or contribute in any way to the suffering of anyone because of where their family was born or what their religion is, when there's clearly no difference between any of our religions or our families. Let us celebrate and respect our differences, especially and most of all those that we do not understand or are none of our business. The nature of this universe and that which has true authority over it and our little world is certainly not perceived in the judgments of any of us, its tiny, near clueless, temporary guests. A wise elder once said that we do not have the divine wisdom to know what came before or what comes after, nor what is within nor outside the object of our judgments. May we focus on the job we have in front of us, which, among other things at this time, is to always speak and act and vote against violence and against all those sins so clearly described by our mothers and fathers. May we devote ourselves to peace, outwardly and inwardly, for as long as there is war in ourselves, there will be war in the world. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That's my bad Arabic, which means peace be upon you. And may that unfathomable oneness, which is everything and encompasses everything, precedes, postdates, and surrounds, and is within us all, bless you in every aspect of your life.
I was just thinking, imagine if we had leaders that actually thought this way. After we were led, but maybe it doesn't, it's not just leaders, but it's all of us individually, collectively,
Yeah, it's a collective thing.
And I like what he said about how, the evil that is within us, that will be manifest, and the love that is within us,
Okay, I liked everything he said.
Yeah.
Everything he said was sound with no emotional outbursts, which is great. In fact, I assume that there will be people that will not be able to resist getting their little grubby hands on going, well, look at the difference. This is clearly the difference between a master and a child that has an outburst. Whatever, you're still ignorant as F. But the bottom line is he is correct. And it doesn't matter how you say it, because evil people everything will smack up against that and not change.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if I'm screaming at them or if that guy's calmly and succinctly explaining in perfect detail with perfect rationality. The wicked person is not going to change. And I'll tell you why. It's because of you first. You first.
I was thinking that when he was talking about that.
So the bottom line is there have been societies that revival swept across. There have been societies where enlightenment swept across, and you find a whole patch of, meditating Buddhists, and then bastards come in and they slaughter them because people can't resist an opportunity. Your enlightenment means my full belly. So that's why which is why I say I have a call to action. Okay, what are you going to demonetize me for my call to action? Stop breeding with psychopaths. Stop working at a job where you go in and you're like, I'm pretty sure my boss is a psycho. Like, I'm pretty sure he enjoys the torment on my face when he gives me jobs I don't like. Like, I could see his glimmer of hope when I express micro expressions of anguish. It's your duty to quit. It's your job to stop buying, things to make your neighbors jealous. It's your job to stop being a goddamn materialist, and people click that off. I hope that the people that lack honor tune out, because I'm talking to people who actually have hearts to mold, people who actually have hearts can still make a change and go, no, that's it. I'm not going to sit by at the next gathering where people are casually being cruel to each other and ignore it. I'm going to make a stink. And let's all get together, man. Let me know in the comments if you agree with that, or if I'm out to lunch. I know it's terrifying, but that's literally what I'm doing. I'm saying, you want to see real change? The people that have thus been doormats have to stop being that way. And the main thing you can do it is stop giving attention to people that will use cheap social tactics to get you on their side, scoff at you. If I was in the room with a bunch of regular folks, I wouldn't have gotten this far. I wouldn't have been able to even say as much if I actually said, somebody would go, pipe down, dismissed everything I said, you lack tact. Look at how emotional you're getting. Be more calm. Manners are going to do us in, because psychopaths wield manners and emotional control as tact to do their evil devices. They put on a fancy suit and you're duped if you don't recognize a demon, who's using social norms as a way to continue all this carnage. Yeah. It's time to get, undignified. It's time to be undignified. It's time to connect again with what being a human is, which is raw. No, we're not going to stand up for that. No, I will not contribute to that. And if you can't share and be upfront and genuine and sincere, if you can't do that, because we've got penetrating methods to find the nuggets of sincerity in you, if we don't begin to value that, we are doomed. We will fall prey to normalness. Yeah. And that, this is fucking normal. War is normal for the planet. We'll continue to see war if we don't make a huge shift and deny the snake.
Yeah, it was a good, solid rant with, I think, a lot of really good points in there. It's tough times, but I think it's constantly been tough times for forever. Since the dawn of mankind, we've had to deal with these situations, and we've had these teachings. And I think we recognize the complexity and how hard it is to embody truly, some of these teachings, to turn the other cheek, because that's what's happening here. It was like a turning of the other cheek. And I think you nailed it on the head, is that the big hindrance is that you're saying, who's going first? Who's going first? And all of us, collectively as a
We all
humanity,
pay. We all pay. I've met enlightened people at this point. I can finally say I've met them, and they're like, we're probably doomed.
Yeah.
Like, they don't, they're not attached to it the way you are. We're the ones that are going to suffer. Those of us with intact egos are going to be like, I don't like this, is what will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there are people that would love it as watching it burn. They'd be happy to see it burn, not caring. And that's what we can't allow to happen, man. Yeah. And that comes from like not being permissive. If you see it at the micro, get obsessive compulsive about it. No, you just lied. We're not forgetting that you just lied. We're addressing it. We're not forgetting that you just did a cruel deed. We're not fostering that in our kids because we actually want them to have a sense of entitlement because it'll make them edgier competitors when they get older. We suffer for that.
Yeah. No, that's true. I think we breed a lot of these things, and it's hard. It comes from a survivalist mentality of just trying to like survive, and then learning to get past that is something we all face. We all going through it together. And I think this video by Matthew Cooke was a great reminder.
Yeah. Just watch him again. He'll calm you out down. And
Great reminder. And guys, we want to know what you have to say in the comments, and keep it civil, please. We don't want picketing here. Just, if you have a comment on what Matt had to say there or something we said, keep it civil. And I guess we'll end it here. And, hopefully if you liked our video, you hit the like, subscribe, share this with a friend and everybody. Until next time, stay spiritual.